Sanbonan guys, I hope you're right. Naming right. I've got something that I want to share with you guys out there, or maybe not to share. I would love if you guys would probably engage me, enlighten me, teach me, make me understand, because there's just a few things that I don't understand concerning what I would like to talk about today. And that which I want to talk about today is it's concerning the religious organizations. I prefer to call it that way. I can always say churches, but for now I reserve to use I that name for my own reasons. Probably as we go along, you will then understand why I prefer not to use that name. So now kukwenzeka. Before we proceed, ngicela ucela favor kuni bazalwane. For the purposes of this, to go and get maybe to the relevant people that probably will be able to even provide me with better answers and better understanding. Please like and share and comment on this video. Just solely for those purposes. I'm not a money making person in YouTube or on YouTube. For me, it's just a matter of getting a broader knowledge. I'm a person that loves to explore. I'm a person that loves to learn. And if something boggles my mind, I prefer to say it and put it out there. Unfortunately, there are now such platforms where we can get much knowledge and get much understanding. So, for those purposes, please, guys, let me share it, me like it, me comment it, and press the bells and everything like that. So that every time I come to ask a question, you can maybe notify it so that we can learn as we go on this journey. So, okay, get a point. So, I'm not by any means a professional on this field. I'm just somebody that loves to learn and understand things. I have, or I believe that I, I can say something about this, or I can have an input on this. One, I've been a member of a church before. I've visited quite a number, note ne? I've been a member of one church. I have visited other number of churches. Okay. And this is ba- basically upon my own observations. Ne? Things that I've witnessed, things that I've seen, things that I've learned, things that I've understood as I saw it. So I'm not a professional in this field, but I'm a professional because I didn't just learn by being part thereof. I've also done some research of my own to get to understand that. So I wish we are clear on that. So subscribe, guys, like and share and comment. Ngiyanicela. Just for the purposes of to get this as far as I can possibly can, so that we can learn on this journey. So, ne, we agree. Thank you, Nyabong. So, now religious organizations. What are religious organizations as per my understanding? Ne? I believe these organizations are built within the community and to serve the community. I want to put this thing on the side. There is no, not even one. religious organization or a church, if you can call it, or if you prefer that particular word. But for this purpose, I'm going to be using mostly the term religious organizations. Probably you'll get why at the end of this. Now, what are those? What are religious organizations? So, in my understanding, Jengingim and being part thereof and having been active to a certain point and to a certain extent in religious organizations, I believe that they are formed by communities, right? They are based on communities, right? And they are there to serve the community. That's one. That is now me saying that in my own understanding of what I've experienced and what I've been part of. I've been helped by organization. I've helped people through an organization of that kind or of that nature. So, in my understanding, they are there to build the communities, strengthen the communities, and one other thing I want to note more or even emphasize on it is that there is no organization that is a religious organization that can exist on its own without the community. Now, with that being said, the church, in my understanding, it is there to to groom, ne? To promote a good behavior and social ethics within that community that it is formed on. And that community will then support the organization, which is now formed by what? By community. So now it's members of that particular community gathering together in a certain or part place with intentions to to make things better in that particular community. Ne? Like now, what I believe more and what I know to be of utmost importance, the community works with and for the organization, right? It is people from the community that forms that organization, and therefore it is that people or those people that works within that organization in trying now to improve, to instill, to teach, to promote a certain good behavior within the community that it exists within, with like it exists in or on. Yeah. So I have some few. That's my now. My understanding is I can better put it in my own words and my own understanding. There are, however, some some references that I had to research and look on. I didn't take much of those, but just the important and the critical parts that I want to pass quickly. I went through to the Bible Study Tools site. Ne? There's an article there by Pastor Louis Angel. He says he quoted it from Greek. He said that the term it comes from Greek. Ne? It's ecclesia. Ne? That means it is a group of people that okay it's a process or yeah, I don't know if I should call it a process or if I should, yeah, but it is a process of identifying community believers in Jesus Christ. Then that term ecclesia means an assembly, congregation, or a meeting. So therefore, in this point, it's a meeting of people who think alike and people who believes in Jesus Christ. That's what he says. And then the role thereof every member has got a particular role that they have to contribute on, or that they must play within this group of people, or within this congregation, or within this assembly. They even yeah, no, it's not them that say this. So everybody has got a role to play according to what they've been gifted on. So second one that I looked at is grace communion. Pastor Joseph Udiena. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. So it's the Grace Communion site. Uti, he asked about asking a question. Why don't we just stay at home? Because back then they used to gather because there were no many copies of Bible, so they went to gather in order for them to learn the word. He goes on to say, now we even have copies of the Bible in our own phones. We could just sit at home and listen to the sermons online. And then he goes now to say, but that is not the end thereof of the church. Ne? It goes beyond just sitting and listening to sermons and just being with each other. It is to serve one another. It is to fellowship with one another. It is encourage and build each other up. And then he quotes Guti. This is Paul that said this statement in the Bible. I'm not gonna go deep on Bible verses. And then he said he says that Paul goes further to say, um, it church is there for worship, it's to discipline, for discipleship, for fellowship, for service, and not just a service in terms of singing, preaching, and all those things that are done in the church, within the actual buildings of the church, but service as in terms of physical service, going out and providing whatever that you can provide as a need to the community. And then evangelism here we know as Bible, I think it's Matthew if I'm not mistaken, I say go ye therefore, and preach the gospel, the kind of thing. So then there's another church, the fourth one now, the site of the Church of Jesus Christ, that is the Latter Day Saints. Pastor David O. McKay Utiena, the church fulfills its mission because it blesses and perfects individuals. Sorry. It blesses and perfects individuals. It contributes to the welfare of humanity. Note that. So there's a fourth and the last one that I took. It's the SDA Church, Seventh Day Adventist Church. Bonabati. They say the mission or the purpose of the church is to love one another, fellowship, encouraging one another, praying for one another. And there it goes on, there's another statement, beautiful, that I took note of. It is important to note being part of any community of any kind can be challenging. No one is perfect. Misunderstandings and conflicts can lead to others being hurt. Yabo said, and others lose interest and sign. So, but either way, they say after this statement, they say, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. That is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 32. So basically, as per these churches, this is the role and the importance that the church plays in our lives. So what I'm gathering from all these statements, the role of the church is just beyond its walls and everything. It is to build, it is to support, it is to encourage uh, the community and everybody that is there for. I want to believe, even though it's not noted on their statements, that it supports the community. Because remember, on my introduction, I said the church is formed of community. So whoever gathers under the roof of the church is part of the community. So if for me it says love one another, it means love one another in the community. It cannot teach love for love your fellow sister in Christ. That, I think that would be a little bit steep and unfair. So I think you will agree with me when I say, when it says love one another, it doesn't just end and begins with the members of the church, because we have already established members of the church are the members that are coming from the community, right? Now, I'm gonna now go to the reasons why I'm having this topic. I'm not gonna be long. I think in the next 10 to 15 minutes I should be done with this. That's my aim and that's my plan. Now I'm gonna unpack it in just two parts. Two parts, if I'm right. Just two parts, because it's not long. And what I want to get across, and I beg you to stay with me, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, please, for the purpose, educational purposes. It's not just gonna help you and me, it's gonna help another person that is probably elsewhere that couldn't get hold of this. Ngiyacela, please. Ngiyacela. I beg. I beg you. I beg. Please do that. And yeah, guys, just for learning purposes and getting to understand these things, because the thing is, we are raising children that are now losing interest at all to religion, and not because we can totally blame them. They don't see value in these things, and now by us talking about such things, they will at least help them to get a better understanding. Maybe they'll become better leaders of tomorrow in churches, who knows what. So let's like and share, comment, and follow the page, please, guys. Ngiyacela. So I'm gonna unpack this very quick and short. The purpose of this particular, I think it's gonna be, uh I'm gonna deliver this in two parts. This is the first part thereof, the role of the church in our community's day and time. That is the role of the um, religious organization in our day and time. Are they adding value, or are they perpetrating some agendas that we are not aware of? And now keep in mind of the descriptions or the definitions that I've given the four churches. There are many others have got different, but I choose these four because all the same, actually, they speak mainly about the same thing, and the main aim of religious organization or churches, it is to spread love, care, and to take care of each other and to love one another, so that is the main aim, as I gather from everything that I've read. And then I just decided to just pick and choose these four with no particular reason, or to perpetrate any other idea, or to give or to sell any other thing, just because they were there and they resonated with me, and I felt that I could easily explain them. That's mainly the reason. So I'm gonna try and unpack this in two parts. Ne? We've already done number one, the role of the church, and what is the church. We've already said that the church, it is formed by the community within a certain area, and there is no church without the community. It's the community members that forms the church. So without the community, there is no pastor who can go just lay his kangen and then decide to put a tent and start preaching and be in hope to raise or to have people gather there as a church. They must go and put a tent where there is people in that community. They'll go and attend. Others will then become regular. Others will become members of that particular church. That's how they do, or churches are started. So there will be no church without the community, and the community is the same people that supposedly to be serving in the church. This one of the pastors I quoted, they even went on down to say the narrative of having to go and be just the clergy that are active in the church, it's nowhere to be found or even supported in the Bible. Everyone and every individual is supposed to be playing a role according to what they are gifted on. So it is a community that I want to believe serves in the church. In that way, is the community serving its people, making its community better. The people of the community, they're the one that are actively there in the church or that organization in improving or making their community a better community. So I'm gonna that one we've already identified or said what is the church and the role. So I've given also the definitions of these different four sites that are referred on as to what is their view about what church is and the role is. And yeah, I've given that already. So one, two, we are done. So we're only left with one part. Now, why am I here? Why am I talking about this? And now we want to actually find out, Phelisa, why are you talking about this? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's engage in the comment section. Why I'm here? Why I'm here? I want to look at the role of the church when it comes to our mental health, ne? And abuse. We know the cases that are taking place currently. We have one by here in South Africa, ne, that is currently running. We have another one in the state of a sexual abuse. So it is prevalent, guys. It happens that people suffer abuse at the hands of the organizations that are supposed to be protecting them. So that is just one part of what I want to talk about, of which today I'm not going to be talking about that, the mental health part and abuse. Yeah? I'm not going to attack that today because it's going to be longer. What I want to look at today, it's the roles of the church, the role of the church when it comes to mental health, but subtopic paranoia. Yeah, I said it, paranoia. Why are you saying paranoia and associating that with churches? I'll let you know now. Watch until the end. I'll tell you why I associate the church. That's why I didn't want to use the name church. I wanted to use organizations with paranoia. And I'm going to link that today with that paranoia and its divisions that it causes within families and communities and its own members, the church itself, and how it does it perpetuate hate among our communities. That's what I'll be focusing on, and that's what I want to do, which I'll be done with in about 5 or 6 minutes or so. I'll be done. I'll put down everything. So now I want you guys to engage me now. Okay. Why I'm talking about this, I've quickly I've got I had to um happen to be very close with people that are very religious, people that love the Lord, people that pray a lot, people that loved even to share the word of the Lord. Ne? And secondly, I had a privilege of having to attend certain churches. Saying this again. So now what happened, Pelis? You did a good thing by attending a church or an organization. Yes, I don't regret that. It's a learning curve for me, or it's a path. Now I learned that I'll make an example by one particular family member of mine. She is so adamant that people are out there to get her. And that people are just not happy about her. People are jealous of her. People don't like her. And then now my question, Mina, would be why people would be like that towards you? What is it that we have got? We've got almost 50 million people in South Africa, 7 billion plus in the world. Why would you think that people will be coming after you when I, as an individual? Bashiya wonke umuntu. Just leave everybody out of it and then just decide to come after you. Okay, skip that one. Another one, different one now. Recently moved to a new area. Not even a year into that area, already there is a neighbor that is actually lawyering her. And then where does all this come from? Because you are a God fearing woman, you are a God loving woman, you pray, you do all those things. Where does that come from? Okay, rewind. I've been to these churches and or this organization, and I couldn't help but to note how much people were I don't know how do I say this, the English word. It says when. They being equipped in protecting themselves against the evil spirits. Okay, I see that. Ne? Nothing probably wrong there, ne? Okay, now you come and then you prophesy, if you can call it that, a person, and then you tell them that they should be looking out after themselves and then they should take care of themselves because there's something taking care around them, taking place, I mean, around them and in the community that they live in and in the community that they stay in. Not everybody likes them. If they are not careful, they probably even gonna die or they're gonna lose whatever. They're not even happy about the marriage. Now, I ask that you've only been here for literally just finished a year now. Don't even know the neighbors that much. Why would you think that your neighbor wants to come after you or back lawyer? Anything or any proof? No proof. Nothing to that a person can provide or produce to prove the narrative that by a lawyer. So now my fear is, where does now this come from? Is the leaders in the church preaching a gospel of fear? Are they preaching a gospel of don't trust your neighbor? Which is, we know, that is not even according to the Bible. I'm talking more Christian because this is the religion I'm familiar with, guys. I have not included any other religions. Yeah, I'm talking basically on how I grew up and the religion that I closely grew up with, that I'm very familiar with, which is Christianity. So now I sat and I thought to myself, Yazin, it's very strange that you go to church. I get the pastor would say, okay, protect yourself. We do protect ourselves. We pray, we kneel and pray to God. Now the pastors are going to the lengths of giving out things, water, soaps, we know all the likes, under the narrative that people should protect themselves physically. And then I said, and I thought to myself, doesn't that maybe that they may be teaching fear to the people in order for them to generate more sales? Because remember, these waters, these soaps, these everything, salts and everything that they give out to people, they don't give them free mahala, they have to pay. So now, if I'm preaching a gospel of fear that do not trust your neighbor, take the salt, bath with it, take the salt, throw it in your house, take this salt, put it in your car, take this salt, this oil, put it on yourself, take this water, bath with it. You get a point. Is it not going with the fact that I want to make profit? Okay. Now we are living and sitting with broken families because my pastor said I should be careful of who I hang around with. And then there's me sitting here having a problem. Why didn't your pastor be specific? Because if I have got a family member or a family of 5 members, you're telling me to be careful. Do you mean that I must withdraw myself or pull myself away from each and every member of the family that I have? Because if you don't tell me, Guti, your older sister, so and so is bewitching you, then in me trying to be careful, I'll always look at somebody with suspicion and not sure Guti, who is jealous of me in the family. Isn't that breaking our families, guys? Be careful of your neighbor, the one that stays opposite you. I've got two neighbors opposite me here, for example. Just two houses facing my house, they're just separated by a wall in between them, my house. Which one? Which one must I be careful of? Now I come to my house and then I'm stressing that that neighbor is probably looking at me. Now I have to go buy salt for myself. Go buy certain things from the church in order to protect myself. Isn't that perpetuating the notion of not trusting your neighbors, not trusting your family members? Isn't that breaking our families, guys? Isn't that breaking our community, the one that we're supposed to be serving, loving, and caring for? Isn't that now breaking the trust that should be there, that when I leave my house, I can shout to the neighbor, Mikey, I'm not going to be around for the weekend. Please, can you just keep on just popping in and see if everything is all right? I won't do that. I'll go at night, so make sure that my neighbor doesn't see me because she's the one that has got a problem with me. This is deeper, guys. You probably might not see how deep this thing goes because it goes to the fact that we have now become these people that are so paranoid that people are actually after us. People are out there to get us. We even forget our purpose and we live a life of wanting to protect ourselves or taking care of ourselves. We literally protect ourselves to the point that we even forget to live. We even forget to exist. We have gotten to the mentality of being so self-centered and so selfish to the point that the only thing that matters is I must protect myself against. You have forgotten to live. And one of the funny thing is, you ask the person, these people are coming after you, what do you have? For example, I am me, married to my wife. Literally, I have what I have, I don't have what I have. And the people like and next to me, let's say for example, they have everything and even more than what I have. Now sit and think about it. They'll be coming after me for what? Coming after my marriage for what? They're not lesbians. They're probably even happily married. They have cars, three, four, five, bigger houses and everything. So it's one of the things that if we can sit and think about these things. Now, note, I'm not saying witchcraft is not there. But now these things that we know that are happening, they tend to make us paranoid. To the point that now you go around looking everybody with suspicion and you forget to live. You forget to exist. You forget to be there for yourself, for your family and everything. You break relationships that you have because of the kind of mentality that you have. You end up losing family members because of the kind of thinking that you have. One of the things I even said when I was thinking and actually looking at this thing, it has made people to be so selfish that they can see everybody else around them being wrong and forget to actually realize and look into themselves deeper and see good, while everybody else around me is wrong, and then me, where do I stand? People tend to forget to interrogate themselves and to look deeper into themselves and to be able to ask themselves relative questions to better themselves as individuals because they are busy protecting themselves from the neighbors and from the next family member, from an aunt, from umkamalu, you get a point. People are protecting themselves and they spending money, and for what? And for what? Everybody's out there. If today is not your aunt, today is tomorrow is your sister. If it's not your sister, it's your neighbor. If it's not your neighbor, probably it's gonna be your child. Who knows? Asaz. Because it has become bad, guys. And whenever I had to go to the people that I've been with, that I've associated with, give me a proof, show me a proof that uzibani uya lo mama wakhona, or lo aunt wakho, or lo sis wakho uyakuloya. Oh konje wena, you don't believe these things. Uzobona ngenye imini. How will I know even that day when it comes that ngiloyo ngumuntu? If I don't have anything proof. I never saw them coming and throwing a portion of salt, sorry, in my yard or anything. I don't have anything. Just because I slept, and then the first person I saw on the street was that neighbor. Guys, can we be realistic? That's why I'm saying now this organization, religious organizations, they are not helping, but they are making it worse. That people are becoming more and more paranoid, thinking that people are out there to get them. And one thing I always ask is, what is it that you have? What is it that you have to offer? What is it that would make people to stop doing whatever that they do? They come after you. But do our real religious organization helping us in this? Because they've got an agenda to push. The more you are scared, I feel like these days they more work like insurance companies. They work on our fears to raise their profits. And after raising their profits, they give nothing and bring back nothing to the community. Because as Pastor David had said, he said, not David actually, it's Joseph. He said that the narrative of having one leader working in the church never existed before. Every community, every part of that gathering must be part of must be involved in working and giving. But because now this organization that are one man ships or boats, everything that happens there and there, it meant to benefit just that one particular person. That is why we're sitting like so. We have churches, organizations that are supposed to be helping the community, not helping the community, instead being helped by the community in making sure that that one particular person rises to higher heights and higher power in the in the space, or in the way of making people hate each other, so that when they hate each other, they fight each other, they think that I that one akangifuni uyangiloya, and then they may run to the church and get myself that and that and that in order to protect myself against that one. If my sister is gonna come and visit here, guys, please go and buy that salt, and then you just have to smear the water around that room that she's gonna sleep on, because I don't want those things. That it's that narrative that they're pushing in order for them to benefit and have to eat. But what do they bring to the table? What do they give back to the community? Nothing. Instead, they instill fear and hate among the people, hate among the people of the community. The first thing you go whenever you consult with this so-called pastors, pastor, I've got a problem. I slept and I dreamt. Oh, Mtanam, you must be careful. Something is out there for you. You must buy this and this and that and that and that in order to protect yourself. And all the while you pulling yourself away from everybody, you becoming this one person that is against the whole world, that is against the whole family, that is against the whole community, because you have got this thing that are really our organization, our religious organizations helping us, guys, to build, to care for each other, to love each other. Are they helping us to do that? Or are they making the situation worse? That we hate each other, we don't trust each other. That's a question that I always had, and that's a question that I have in my mind. And I just wish that one day we will be able to tell the truth versus the lie. It's one of the things that I always say, guys, that I've asked you beginning of this. Please, let's like, let's share, let's comment. Importantly, let's follow, please, my page so that whenever I have these things, you can teach me. Maybe I'm still a child. I don't understand these things. In that case, I admit, please teach me, engage me, ask me. But what I've observed, it is what I've observed. What I've seen, it is what I've seen. Therefore, are these organizations still serving the purpose as prescribed by the pastors that I quoted here, telling us the role of the church? That is to love, to care, and to nourish. Because for me, I had a point that the churches are there to groom and promote good behavior and social ethics. I believe that when I go to church, I want to come up a better person, come out a better person, caring and loving, given what I'm supposed to be taught at church. But do we get to be taught that? Do we even get to read the Bible at all? Or do we go there and be bashed and be told about how you have been witched? I don't know whatever to say. Bakuloyise mncane wena, bakuthathela izinto zakho. You're supposed to be that and that. I get to you guys book I get but then if you sit and you live your life in the corner, running against away from everybody because you're running away from being bewitched, when are you gonna start living your life? Are you then gonna start living your life in fear of even going out because I might just step on something that they've put for me there? I think this is where the paranoia part comes from me, that it makes you to stop living. It makes you, there's nothing that you even think about, there's nothing that you start to cough, "Obang loyil." You start to sneeze, "Ebang loyil." Headache, shit, ngadlula. I just passed at a certain house there. I know they did something to me. My foot is sore. When I just cannot not be ill, G. When you just cannot not sneeze. Once you start to sneeze, bagloy, because that is what you feed your mind about. That there should be nothing wrong in your life. Your marriage breaks, yeah, but still. If then you know what the people that are busy out there, they want to destroy your marriage, why are you giving them or handing them ammunition to just do that and finish that? Don't you know what to do? Because I would think that you know better what to do and what is expected for you to do because you know better about these things. So guys, I these things they just spoke with me. The next one that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna deal more on the mental health, and therefore I'm gonna give a little bit of background of my experience at church and mental health because I know and I believe that because of this narrative that leave this thing, leave your antidepressants, take my thing, it's gonna help you. We've read about stories where people they were told to stop their antiretrovirals and being promised that I'll give you a better life, that you will become HIV negative. So is it really our condition? Are they helping us today or are they destroying us? And please note, I didn't say every pastor out there has got a hidden agenda. I do believe there are good men of God out there that are doing the job. But I'm not going to lie, also, they're very far apart. And therefore, if we do not want to use our lives or our minds, we want to live our lives being led and being told everything by these kind of pastors that we believe nothing, we can never just sleep and wake up with a dream and you be like, it's a dream, you just want to consult. They will tell you something obvious. They're gonna tell you something. Even if dream is just a normal dream, it's meaningless for that matter. It's just a subconscious mind doing its things. They will have to tell you something because you want to hear something. So for me, guys, really, the question stands: Are our religious organization relevant in our time, in our day? Are they really helping us in making things better for ourselves and for those that we love? Or are they destroying our families? Are they destroying our communities because of their their own agendas that we probably have no idea of, or we do, but we decide to ignore them? Not gonna lie, I almost got hooked. Actually, let me not say almost. I'll tell you the story one day. But I think everything happens so that you can wake up and learn and smell the coffee. So that's it, guys, for today. And I hope you will look at this and engage me on it, and then you will definitely share, and then you will like it, and then you will subscribe on my channel. I've got more and more of such content, and even more different contexts. But this one, I'm gonna make it two parts. Remember, today we were just focusing on the religious organization and their perpetuation of paranoia, the hate amongst the church members on its own, amongst the communities, amongst the families. So now on the next one, I'm gonna be talking about the church and the depression. It's gonna be church and depression and abuse. So please, guys, landelani lo muntu lo. Gonna take you places. I want to talk about those things that we don't often talk about because we are afraid, because bazokuloya. If they hear me talk about this thing, they're gonna come after me. So when I talk about those things, guys, let's open up, let's be honest, let's share, let's warn each other, let's teach each other. All the same, let's not allow ourselves to be made fools. Thank you, guys. Bye for now.